So, going live inside the Facebook group, it is September 2025. Some of you have just been informed that your intake date, your start date, has now been deferred to September 26. 1 year away. These are people who applied in January 25 or before, who had a possible start date of now, September, that then got pushed back to December. And now it's been pushed back to September 26. Can you believe that? Seriously? Humberside Police, what is going on? Well, in this video, in this live, I'm going to talk to you about exactly what's going on. And this is not unusual. It's not unusual behavior. I've seen this before. Why? How? Well, my name is Brendan from Blue Light. I've been coaching and supporting people for the recruitment process for specialist interviews in the police and for promotion boards for 31 years now. Blue Light Consultancy, my business, it's got a great team of coaches. We guarantee everyone's success who joins our academy programs. More about that in a minute. Yeah, we've got a huge amount of success stories. We've been doing this for 15 years now. And we've seen all sorts of behavior from forces come and go. And this is not unusual. Humberside Police actually are one of the big offenders. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to manage this situation. If you are caught in this big talent pool, which is what it is, then how can you escape it? And how, if you're preparing for the recruitment process, because forces are still going to recruit, can you ensure that you become a preferred candidate? That was an interesting phraseology. We saw that in an email this week from one of our clients who've been successful for West Midlands Police. They got an email to say, because you are one of our preferred candidates, we're bringing forward your start date. We're bringing it forward. And I've just spoken to someone earlier who's got a place in West Yorkshire Police, one of our clients who's been successful. If you look at our website, actually, you'll see all the videos. And actually daily in this group, you'll see testimonials from our amazing, amazing clients. Today's testimonial, just heard that they were told straight after their final interview that they'd passed, and their intake date was brought forward from March to November, from March 26 to November 25. So what's going on? Why are we seeing some people being brought forwards where other people are being pushed back? Now, what's going on? Well, we've seen this before. Humberside Police, actually, we had some clients years ago. One of them waited just under 3 years. Just under 3 years. From application to a place took just under 3 years. We used to pester the force about it all the time, saying it's just unreasonable to expect people to wait that long. This individual couldn't move geographically. They couldn't go to a different force. So they're sort of locked into just the long game, the waiting game. They eventually got an intake date. And I remember him saying that I could have gone to university and got a degree in that time. I could have gone to university and got a degree in that time. Now, they're quite happy because they were in work, but the tension of just waiting all the time and not being vetted, because they won't vet you until they know that there's an intake date ready for you, because your vetting only lasts for 6 months. So you don't get vetted until the last minute. So it's not unusual behavior. We've seen other forces do this. We've seen Surrey do it in the past. Sussex have done it in the past. I'm not going to name and shame other forces because there are others. I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But pre-uplift, this was a regular thing. It depended how much money the force had. It depended on supply and demand. And generally, there's about 80 to 90,000 people applying to join the police every year for about 7,000 to 8,000 places. It moves up and down every year, but invariably, it's around 1 in 12 people are going to be successful. We just do the math. Like, that many people are applying, that many people are successful. So even if you are successful, you may find yourself in this talent pool. What's a talent pool? A talent pool is not something you want to be in. It just means that you're not ready to go to the next intake, either because they're doing it in turn or your marks weren't high enough, because a lot of forces will take people out of the talent pool based on their mark. That's how we got one of our candidates, clients being a preferred candidate. They got their intake date brought forwards. How would you like that, to be in that position? Well, you've got to get a high mark. That's what you've got to do. So for those people who've been deferred for a year for Humberside, and there's still no guarantee that next September it's going to take place, what's going on? Why are they doing this? Well, I think a lot of forces are starting to get a bit concerned about their financial situation. I've been saying for a while, the Met Police have announced they've got to cut 3,300 officers over the next 3 years. Their recruitment slowed down from 3,500 a year to 500 a year, that's it. Although that may increase, but at the moment we know there's a backlog for the Met of about 1,000 people, over 1,000 who've passed everything, they're just waiting for the vetting, and intake dates that just don't have 1,000 places. So they're going to choose people based on different criteria, and one of the only criteria they can utilize is score. And the Met in the past have used geographical, living within the M25 corridor. The Met in the past have used must have English as a second language. So forces can use different criteria to decide who goes into an intake and who doesn't. I prefer Cheshire's approach. I don't know if they still do this, but Cheshire's approach, I think it was during Uplift, might have been just before it, actually just wrote to people to say your scores weren't high enough. You passed everything, but your scores weren't high enough, so goodbye. I think I prefer that than just leaving you hanging on. So what do we do if we are in a talent pool? What do we do, first of all, to avoid it? To avoid it, score the highest of marks. If you're in one already, you can still apply to other forces. Although your force, Humberside, might be like kicking and screaming, saying, if you change your application to another force, we will withdraw your place. Well, don't tell him. Just don't tell him. You don't have to. You're not obligated to do so. You owe nothing to that force. Although there may come a problem when the new force you apply to, that's actually recruiting at the moment, ask for your online assessment centre results. Well, if you've got your online assessment centre results from the College of Policing, you can just send those. Just send those. Some of our clients have done that in the past. And they say, well, you can approach the force if you want, but I'm not prepared to stop the recruitment process with that force, but I really want to join your force. And the reason why I don't want to stop it is because, look, I don't like that 1 year wait, and I've seen that you're recruiting, and you're recruiting into an intake in January. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go for an interview. So you can only transfer your score if they're recruiting, and you can only transfer your score if, for example, I know Thames Valley recruit people into the detective program based on the score of the OAC. So if your score's high enough, you'll get selected. I think for most forces, for the normal entry route, the PC entry route, I don't think it's select based on score. So we've just got to make sure we do better on the final interview. The final interview, 50 different versions in this country, in the United Kingdom, over 50 different versions. So we need to make sure we're ready for every type of question, because don't bank on the questions either being easier or harder or whatever, or you can bank on them being different. That's what you can bank on. You can bank on them not necessarily being harder or easier, but you can bank on the marking guide being different, because there's over 50 different forces who have 50 different plus types of interview and assessment. So you may get, instead of all rear-facing, you might get motivation, impact, challenge, values, forward-facing scenario, a written exercise, a briefing exercise, role plays to do, all sorts of different things that forces can introduce. So we need to make sure we're ready for that as well. Don't just think you can recycle the same answers. Big mistake. We've just heard from someone who failed because they did that. They couldn't understand it. I used the same answers. Yeah, different force, dude. Different force. So there you go, folks. Hopefully helpful. It's not good news. I really feel for those of you who've just been deferred for a whole year. You've already been in the recruitment process for several months. If it gets deferred again, it could be almost 2 years. We do not want it to be in that position. It's bad press for the force, by the way. Like, you know, Humberside got a real bad rep when they did that years ago. They've just got a bad reputation again. Why would you join a force, want to apply for a force that's so flaky? I wouldn't. Would you? All right, so we've got to make sure that we line our ducks up properly. If you want any further advice on this, I'm quite happy to do more lives or answer any questions that you've got. Just send me a message. Hopefully this has been useful for you. Hopefully helpful. I really feel from my heart for those of you who are in this position, that you're having these intakes being pushed back and pushed back. Oh, why are they doing it? No money. They've got no money. Just about every force has got a deficit. The Mets is over 200 million. GMPs is over 30 million. A lot of forces have got big deficits, and they don't know what the funding settlement is going to look like this December. But at the moment, the public purse is not looking good. So they're not expecting it to be flush. They're expecting to have pressure put on them to cut even more. Don't know how they're going to cut. The only way they can cut, though, is through staffing numbers, because staffing costs about 85% of the force budget. You just think the buildings and the cars and everything would be. No, it's people. People cost the money. About 85% of all the budget gets spent on people, salaries and pensions. So that's why if they're going to make cuts, that's where they make the cuts. That's where they make the cuts. So not good news, but it's not bad news in that forces are still recruiting. It's not like austerity. Like in austerity, forces just stop recruiting completely. They're still recruiting. So there you go. not best news, but I've given you some avenues out. Look at different forces. If you want any further guidance on this, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, send me a message. If you're in the job already, you're secure, love you to bits, kudos to you. If you're looking to join the job, it's the best job in the world still. Forces still are recruiting. That's the good news. That's the good news. You just might have to wait a little bit longer or have different applications going with different forces. Hopefully helpful, folks. I'll see you on the other side.